Because it's so fresh, I don't want to put you through having to come up with a reaction to the inevitable vile stuff that's been on the internet, the heartless, almost emotionless, cold stuff that's come out of places like MSNBC. But I want to focus in on a contributor on your program, a legendary American journalist who also knew Charlie Kirk, Mark Halperin, who talked about the need not to find something positive, but to turn towards not vengeance, but grace. How are you handling the emotions of all of this?
You know, I'm torn because I like vengeance. You know, I was never a prosecutor, but I went to law school because I thought that's what I wanted to do with my life. I'm fine with vengeance, and I hope to see it exacted on the perpetrator of this crime. But I have kids, and I need to worry about the country they're going to grow up in. And not for nothing, Paul, but my kids are very jarred by this. You know, the kids over here loved Charlie. He was an important figure for them. They don't have a lot of heroes that they can look up to who they see in their spaces, you know, who are all over TikTok trying to talk to them, who go like on that show Surrounded where everybody yells at you. And that's something kids like and who shows up there because that's where they go. All my kids knew Charlie, not personally, but knew of Charlie, watched Charlie clips. Like he was in their algorithm. And I said, absolutely, take more of it. You know, like that's one algorithm I'll support. But they have to grow up in this country. Like, we don't feel like ourselves. We haven't felt like ourselves in a while. And I'm sorry to get political, but I'm just going to be honest. We haven't felt like ourselves since Barack Obama. I just think he was such a slick snake. You know, he was this affable guy who was like wearing good suits and looked the part and sounded the part and dressed the part, but was so divisive in his messaging. The left, they look at you like when you say this, they don't know what you're talking about. It's like, because you don't pay attention to the other half of the country. You only pay attention to your absurd news sources, which spin and spin and spin to protect Democrats, especially if they're named Obama. He's the one who started to inject race where no one had been doing it. He's the one who started to use his pen and the phone to shove things down our throat that we didn't want. He's the one who shoved through an entitlement on our health care and our personal doctor visits that he promised he wouldn't mess with. And then he did, really hurting people, causing massive anger and open lies. He never missed an opportunity to twist the knife on the racial issue. He would do it subtly and in his own way, but it was very clear what he was doing. For the first time, we had a president who weighed in on legal cases before they'd played out. We never did that. That was a taboo that had never been crossed before him. And Donald Trump was the reason Barack Obama, reverse that. Barack Obama was the reason Donald Trump came about, that he was born as a political figure. They say Trump's divisive. He was the antidote. He was the answer to the divisiveness of Barack Obama. And we just haven't felt like ourselves for years now. I don't know if there's a settling. I don't know if there's the hand holding, the rhetorical hand holding that could happen in a moment where we're all looking at this tragedy and lamenting it could last and change things. But I have to hope for it because, again, I have children who need to live here, who need to grow up here, who need to stay here.
I genuinely hate to ask this, but you were due, as you've mentioned, to go out on tour in the next few weeks. Not something as open as what happened today, where literally it was in the middle of a university square, but you and many other people in America don't just broadcast, but you go out there, you do shows, you are in front of hundreds and thousands of people at any one time. How are you feeling about your security and how you will have to interact for the next little while?
I mean, it's certainly going to be on my mind more now than it has been. My general approach to security is I have a team that worries about it, so I don't have to, because it's a very difficult way to go through your life, you know, having to worry about that kind of thing. You kind of can't do what we do if you are actively worried about it. But, you know, I'll say this, I'll feel a lot better when they catch the shooter. You know, I don't know, what does that guy's list look like? What does he have one? Is it a political motivation? Is he targeting people who say the things Charlie says? Because yeah, I say those same things. And my friends say those same things. You know, you say those things. Like, of course, all of us in the public eye need to wonder what was the motivation here. Whatever it was, he should be executed. He should be tried, prosecuted, and when found guilty, put to death. But in my own life, yeah, we're going to have to take a look at what that looks like, Paul. You know, I just announced this week, as I mentioned, that I'm going on tour. It's like the timing of this is very interesting. You know, it's like I have never taken the show on tour before. I don't do a ton of live events. And, you know, for the first time, I hadn't even considered, like, will there be magnetometers at the events? You know, I hadn't even considered that. And now those are the kinds of questions I'm sure we're all going to have to ask.
Thanks for talking, Megyn. It was extraordinary to see you handle this in real time on your program. I'm so sorry that you lost your friend in Charlie Kirk. But from the other side of the world, this is a person who has changed the world, in my view, for a better place. And I'm so sorry that your mate's gone.
Love you too, Paul, and your audience. Thanks so much.